nobody's thinking about you. You're worried about everybody else's opinions if you fail. I'm like, nobody's worried about you. If you die, they're not going to be talking about you in 6 months. They have bigger and better things to think about than you. These are the people you're comparing yourself to and worried about being judged from. Just go do your thing. Get started. Get your bank started. Get your cash flow system started. Figure out where the money's going to come from. Where is your cash flow going now? Write it all out. Figure it out. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. Thanks for being here again. I appreciate it. Hey, if you guys aren't sharing this, I would really appreciate that too, if you could share. Okay, let's talk about cash flow versus net worth. This is something I get. I know I'm not on my farming channel, because if you guys didn't know, I also have a Farming Without the Bank podcast. So you can see me over there too. But if you are over here on the Without the Bank podcast, we don't talk a lot about net worth. And I don't see it a lot, but even people in the business world, doesn't matter if you're farming or not, when you go to the bank, they want to know what your net worth is. I'm going to lend you some money. I need to know what your net worth is. I need to know where all of that is, or where all of your money is. And so let's talk about it. Let's talk about which one is more important and what we need to know here. So in my world, I don't frankly care what your net worth is. Does not matter to me. It does matter. The insurance company wants to know what your net worth is because you can be insured based on your gross income, a factor of your gross income, or you can be insured based on a factor of your net worth. And so some people have a higher net worth than they have a gross income. Did you inherit something? Are you really good at saving? Whatever that might be. And so they care, but I don't care when I meet with you because we need cash flow to pay our premium. Cash is flowing through our hands at any given time, right? Nelson talks about this in Becoming Your Own Banker. And money has to flow in order to work. Cash flow has to come into the banks so that the banks can lend money out to other people. Now, the way they're doing that is ridiculous because they're turning their money 10 to 1. But let's not talk about fractional reserve banking. If you guys don't know what fractional reserve banking is, then just go Google it or YouTube it. And there's all kinds of stuff on YouTube talking about fractional reserve banking. But what I'm talking about is just cash flow. You can't go on vacation without cash. I don't care if that cash is in the form of actual cash or if it's in the form of a debit card or a credit card or whatever. We need money going through our system because if you go on vacation, you have to then go to work to then pay the credit card company, right? And so we need money to keep flowing through. If money does not flow, we can't do anything. And I talk about it a lot. The homeless people on the street are begging for cash flow. They have their little sign, please give me money so I can go buy food. I can take a shower. I can buy cigarettes, booze, whatever it is that they're going to do with that money. We are judging what they're going to do with that money. Not really up to us to do that, but we're not giving them our cash flow if we don't see fit to do so. Cash flow. We can't buy an apartment building. We can't buy a duplex. We can't buy any real estate if it's not going to cash flow. The bank's going to say, no. Hold on. You mean your payment's going to be $1,000 a month on that and you're only going to charge $500 a month for rent? That's not cash flowing. I have purchased a couple of townhomes for both of my children to live in. Not a good idea. I mean, I didn't have problems with it, but most people say that's not a good idea. Both of them have different rent or had different rent. I only have one now, but both had different rent. And one had cash flow issues because we have student loans. The other one didn't have cash flow issues. So you're paying high rent. Okay. So we might help one out for a little bit. And then the other one, you're going to pay rent because there's 24 hours in a day you can work. You're not getting a discount on rent because I need to cash flow this thing. I have to pay for electricity. I have to pay for things to be repaired. I have to pay for the lawn maybe to be mowed. I have to pay for garbage disposals if they go out, right? I have to pay property taxes. I have to pay for insurance. And so I need cash flow in order to cover all those expenses. I need to pay myself back for my loan. So I need to cover that stuff. I'm not going to buy that property if the cash flow isn't there. If they're like, oh, mom, I can't pay that X amount of rent, I'm not buying it. It does not make sense. And so we have to look at what are we doing with our cash? So many of us are spending it and we're not beating Parkinson's law and we have no idea. We're like, oh, well, geez, I don't know where it went. The more money we make, the more money we spend, the less idea we have of where that money went. And so as we make more money, we're just like, oh, you know what? We don't have to budget quite as hard. We can go for ice cream. We can go to a movie. We can go on vacation. I can go get whatever it is I need. I can buy some new clothes. I'll shop a little more on Amazon, put a little more decor in my house, do whatever. But once we look at where we're putting that money, is it creating cash flow? I don't want decorations for my house. I want cash flow. Is it going to create cash flow for me? I don't need, and no offense to people that got it, but I don't need Botox. I don't need lip filler. I don't need eyelashes. I don't need nails. They're not creating cash flow for me. That is how my brain works. I have really good friends that have all of the above, and they look fantastic. Okay, they don't have all the wrinkles I have. Their lips look great. They got eyelashes. You can see them. Fantastic. But guess what? I look at them and think, you look fantastic, but what could have you made that money work for you? It's a priority of really what we want. I prioritize creating cash flow. I am constantly looking for new avenues to do that. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired and I keep screwing up. I am looking for new avenues to do that. Because if I can put my money to work for me, then I have more money coming in. I don't necessarily ever look at even my own net worth. I frankly just don't care because it's not what pays the bills. It's a future asset. My net worth is a future asset, and that is fantastic. I know it's there. I know my farmland is going to be great and it's going to be this future thing, but it's not creating this great amount of cash flow. It's not even, the cash flow on my farm ground is not even making the payment. Some people will say that was a horrible decision. Yep, but it can create cash flow in the future. It's building equity and maybe cash flow in the future because when I sell it, or if I want to split it, or if I want to do anything like that with it, then it's going to create cash flow. The bank wants your net worth when you go in and fill out payments because it's important to them. What can they take if you default on your loan? That's why they want to know what your net worth is. I don't care. I want to know how much money you have so we can run it through the system, create your banking system, and then you can borrow against that to create more cash flow, to create more banking systems. And then we just keep repeating the cycle. I talked to a couple yesterday that were so confused by how this whole thing worked. And I am finding that cash buyers, well, I have learned this a long time ago, that cash buyers, this is so complicated for them because they want everything paid off. They want to be debt-free. And then they don't have any money. So in this particular instance, this guy owns a trucking company. And he's like, but we don't have any money to even pay the premium. I'm like, yeah, you do. Like, you're running $1 million business and you only borrow $100,000. So you have $900,000 going through your hands that is cash. You never see it because the second you have it, you buy something. You have the cash flow. Because we don't have the money sitting in a savings account, our brain says we don't have the cash flow to start the policy. No. You've got it. It's just how are you utilizing it? And cash flow is what's going to give you the ability to start a business, give you the ability to buy rental properties, give you the ability to expand your income. If we look at net worth, that's not helping us do anything. So if we want to get ahead, we should be looking at what is our cash flow? How are we utilizing money? And that is not what people teach us to do. That is why Robert Kiyosaki talks about cash flow, and he has the cash flow game, because it is all about how you utilize the cash coming into your system and then execute on whatever it is you utilize it for to create more cash flow. Most of us are taking our cash flow and we're putting it into some sort of a 401k or IRA, and our net worth is changing constantly. We have no guarantees. That 401k and IRA don't create cash flow until later, and you don't even know what the cash flow is going to be. You don't know if you'll have it. You don't know if the tax rules will change on it. You don't know any of that stuff. I would rather take that same gamble with farm ground because I know farm ground. I don't know the stock market. So why would I be putting money in the stock market hoping for cash flow later? I'm going to create cash flow now so that I can go use it to start more businesses to create more cash flow. It sounds crazy. I know. You're like, I barely have enough cash flow to buy groceries. Okay. So then you're sitting there and saying, well, I can't do this. I can't do it because I don't have cash flow. When the question should be, how can you do it so that you can get out of the rat race? How can you do it? If you're sitting there saying, I can't do it, you can't do it. You'll never do it. So you may as well just quit listening. Change the question so you get the answer. I had talked to an existing client yesterday, and they were basically saying, oh, we can't buy a farm. We can't buy a ranch. The ranch we were looking at, it'd be a great ranch, but too expensive. I said, why is it too expensive? They're like, well, we don't have $10 million. And I said, yeah, but could you buy it and then take the acres you want off of it and sell the rest? Could you find an investor that could help you buy it? Would the bank actually say no if you wanted to buy it, knowing you're going to sell the rest? It's a matter of how can we get it done. Most of us, our brains automatically say, oh, that's out of our price range. We can't do that. Oh, I can't buy rental properties. Oh, I can't buy into a business. Oh, I can't start a business. You can't? Or you don't know how. You can't. Your brain's not in creative mode because you've not asked it to be. How can we take our cash flow that's coming into our system now to make more cash flow? Don't increase the net worth by peanuts in your 401k. Oh, I'm contributing 3%, 5%, 6%. Great. Good for you. You're creating all this net worth over here, and it's not going to be enough cash flow to pay your bills with inflation. How can we take that money today, create more cash flow so we can have this constant cycle of money flowing? That's the question we need to be asking. That's what's important. If that was not important, people wouldn't be talking about it. Wealthy people do not talk about how much money they have in their 401ks and IRAs. I have never sat down with a wealthy person and had a conversation of their investments. I have always had conversations of their businesses and their cash flow coming into their business. I have never sat down and said, how much money you got in annuities? How much money you got in that IRA? No. That's not the conversation wealthy people are having at the dinner table. It is, how can we create more cash flow? How can we buy another business to create more cash flow? How do we buy more properties to create more cash flow? What are we doing to create more cash flow? It's really simple. And when you understand how to utilize your money to start doing that, it gets easier. Right now, you're probably sitting there and like, yeah, that's easy to say, Mary Jo, but I don't have the money. Okay, you may not have it today, but today's the day you need to start to do something different so you can have it in the future. Do you think I had everything I have right now in one day? No, you build it up over time. But I had to get started, and I don't remember sitting down and being like, oh, well, I got to get started. And this is my goal. This is what I want in 2 to 3 years. That is not how my brain works. I'm like, oh, good idea. I'm going to do that. And that's what I want in the end. And I don't know when that is. It's just when it happens. I'm just going to do all the things to get there. I'm not going to plan them out. I'm just going to do the things. I'm just going to write a book. I don't know how the cover's made. I don't know what an ISBN number is. I don't even know how to write. I don't know people that do know how to write. I'm just going to type. Literally, this is how it happened. I just sat down and typed, and then I sent it to a friend that I was like, oh, apparently you know how to write. And she said, Mary Jo, you wrote it all wrong. You got to rewrite it. I was like, noted. Okay. Rewrote the book. Edited again. Edited again. Oh, how do I do a cover? Who do I talk to do a cover? Oh my gosh, I've never done this before. Where do I go to print it? I didn't ask where it's printed. I didn't ask any of that stuff. I just typed literally. And then I figured it out when it was done. I am not a planner. And that is sometimes a blessing. Just get started. Figure it out as you go. If somebody is like, oh, look, you failed. They're saying that from their couch watching Netflix? That's the person you're concerned about? The person that doesn't get off the couch and do anything, the person that doesn't even know what a podcast is, those are the people that those are the people you're worried about their opinion? No. I don't even think about other people's opinions. I don't know. Here's the thing. This is what I told a guy recently. I said, nobody's thinking about you. You're worried about everybody else's opinions if you fail. I'm like, nobody's worried about you. If you die, they're not going to be talking about you in 6 months. They have bigger and better things to think about than you. So a lot of people are walking around going, oh, I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want to, they're going to judge me. No, they're not. The second they leave you, they're done. People are too self-centered to give two craps about what you're doing. And if somebody is so concerned about what you're doing, they're doing nothing because they're so worried about what you're doing that they're not doing anything except worrying about you. Where's that getting them in life? These are the people you're comparing yourself to and worried about being judged from. Just go do your thing. Get started. Get your bank started. Get your cash flow system started. Figure out where the money's going to come from. Where is your cash flow going now? Write it all out. Figure it out. And then what can I do to change that? That's where you have the meeting with us. Myself, Teresa, John, that's where you have the meeting. So then we can help you figure out where is that money going? How can it be better utilized? Cash flow and utilization of money. Those are the two key things here. And that's all infinite banking is teaching you. Cash flow and how to utilize money. What tool to put it in. It's a thought process that we have not been taught. Okay. Let me know if you guys have comments, questions, concerns, any of the above. If you have a topic that I've not covered, if you are hearing something about infinite banking and I have not addressed it, or you think it sounds crazy, whatever, and you want me to use that as a topic for a podcast, email me. Let me know. Happy to address whatever it is, answer any questions you have. I am not going to dodge a question unless I don't know the answer or it's not my field of expertise. I may bring somebody in the future to answer that, but I'm not going to answer something I'm not an expert on. Okay, you guys. Let me know if you need anything, maryjo@withoutthebank.com. Otherwise, grab your book at withoutthebank.com, schedule your appointment, and we'll go from there. You have a fantastic rest of your day.